Welcome to The Good Work, a podcast and video series that follows The Event Company, an event design company that specializes in corporate, nonprofit, and social events. Our passion lies in creating one-of-a-kind events that share the good work of organizations we are fortunate to collaborate with. Tune in for conversations with leaders of these great groups, our best advice for your next event, and some behind-the-scenes moments. Now, let us show you the good work. In today's episode of The Good Work, we are going to take you behind the scenes to see what it takes to create our weekly vodcast. From writing the content to day of filming and production to sharing each episode with all of you on our social media platforms, you get to see it all. Welcome to The Good Work. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Whoa. Hey. Welcome. I'm excited for today. So we are doing all behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. Totally different perspective that everyone's seeing and gets to listen to. But you can kind of see I just hit the timer on my time machine. Otherwise,
we're giving away like all. We're going to go back a couple of weeks ago.
No one has a cell phone, but this is fun. So we are going to talk about everything that it takes to produce the podcast, which is fun. So we're going to talk about all of the writing that you guys do, all the editing that Nate, our producer, does, which you'll get to see him in a little bit. He's kind of our man behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's his time to shine.
Yeah, totally. And you'll hear from Maddie, who does all the social media pieces of it, which is fun. So, and I just kind of roll in. Really?
Yeah, it was your dream though.
Yes. So, yeah. Should we start by talking about that piece of it? Or?
Please, take it away.
Well, thanks, Callie. Good intro. So I had wanted to do this vodcast for years, right? I always thought like, people have no idea all the stuff that we do or the really cool events that we're a part of. You know, some people sure think like we just make stuff look good and you just make it look beautiful and it's seamless, but nobody knows all the stuff that goes into what we do or the really cool groups, right? Because sometimes we do these events that are not public, so nobody has any clue what happens. So I thought, wouldn't it be awesome to do this, right? So I'd thought about it for a couple of years. We were stranded in a snowstorm in April last year. Was it like April 14th? I'm really good at dates, but maybe it was somewhere around there.
Yep.
Our friend Nate was there. Callie was there. Sarah was there. You were not there yet, Maddie.
Not.
You came the month.
I was
later.
just a dream
in our eyes.
Yep. And we just sat there during the snowstorm and we're like, maybe you should do this. Nate's like, well, maybe I'll just put all the stuff in your Amazon cart and you could just do it yourself, right? And I'm thinking, oh gosh, like, first of all, I'm not a procrastinator by any means, but I knew that this was not in my wheelhouse, right? Like, I'm pretty, I think, technologically savvy in that sense, but to actually produce a whole podcast.
It's a lot.
At that point, it was just a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Not even the vodcast, no video at all. And then I'm like, this is not going to happen, right? And it was a lot. And Nate kept saying, like, if you have this, you know, it's just kind of starter stuff, but it's not like the worst starter stuff, and it's not like the high end stuff. So had it in the cart, whatever. And then we just chatted a little bit more. He's like, what if you like put one camera up in your office and had one angle? And all of a sudden it became two angles. And then what if he just helped with us? So that's kind of how we started. And really the conversation, so that was in April. I think
I have a funny story behind this too. I was literally just at the Sheridan on Friday for a meeting and we sat at that exact table and I was walking up with my mom and my dad and I'm like, oh my gosh. It kind of like, I was like, this is where the good work was like born. And my mom's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it happened right here.
That's so cool.
I know. And I have an awesome business coach that I've worked with for a little over a year. And she kept saying, just do it. Like, why are you so scared of it? I said, it's not like I'm scared about it, but what if people don't watch it or listen to it or whatever? Now we are nearing 32 episodes, over 8,500 minutes that have been watched. We just looked at the stats the other day, right?
Yes.
Like one of our top cities, which is so strange, is in Budapest, but who knows? It could be some click farm people. Just
shout out to them if you really are listening.
Thank
you for listening.
We are fans. But it just really happened. And so Haley, my coach, is like, if you're going to do it, you better just do it. So I'm like, okay. So talking to Nate's like, do you just want to try it out a little bit or do you just want to do it? And I'm like, nope, sign a contract. Like, we're doing it, right? And I just needed to get that commitment done, right?
Yeah.
And here we go. And I remember it was in June. Remember you and I were at Dakota Resources event. Remember we were doing some stuff on the side and just getting some work done in between things.
Yep.
It was you, Carly, who was interning with us at that time. and you guys wrote the intro. Someone wrote the intro. You guys were
That was
writing the
me
intro
back at
piece.
home. So we were like going back and
Yes.
forth. I remember even like reached out to Nate. I was like, "What do you think of this?" Like we were just all
we
creative.
wrote
like,
when we were at Rolex. We wrote what to send to our guests.
Yes,
For
correct.
day of.
Yeah.
What to
FAQs,
wear, where
yeah.
to park.
Yeah. All of that stuff was birthed at the end of June, and then we start filming July. Remember that? Yeah. Nuts, huh?
Crazy. So fast.
Yeah, it did go fast, but we were super deliberate, I think, in terms of who we wanted to be on the show and how we wanted to do it. Remember we were talking about like special cards that we were going to get and what we were
Yes.
going to do. And these coffee cup things were
Yes.
birthed there. We've got these cool little coffee cups that we've had that are stamped with, hand stamped for that matter,
And
Yes.
stamps.
with the event company on them, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's interesting just to kind of see how far how far it's come. So out of our group here, do you prefer watching it or do you prefer listening to it?
Ooh.
I'm a watcher.
I'm a watcher because I have to be.
Yes,
But I do
you
know
do.
if you
Yep.
I do know if you just only listeners.
Yeah. I love listening to it. I love watching it too, but I love listening to it. And I think it's like some of those first couple episodes and I was listening to it in my car on the way to work. I'm like, holy shit. Like this is real. Like I just felt like, oh my gosh, like we're doing it, right? Like there's no turning back.
Yeah.
We're on iTunes. Like how cool is that? And
Crazy.
But so since then, I mean, I love it listening to in the car, but I'm a big podcaster too. So it just kind of gets me in the groove. But let's take a step back though, because Callie, I want to talk with you first, or if you can share with us how the content piece comes, because you are the primary kind of designated writer on the team. We bounce ideas off of each other, but talk through the process and the different spreadsheets and all that stuff, because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So I'll kick back to when we kind of first started launching it. We kind of almost before we even launched it, we're like, let's brainstorm potential topics, because we didn't want to get 5 episodes in and all of a sudden we're like, well, what do we talk about next? So we wanted to see that there was going to be topics to discuss. And
Longevity.
we included, longevity to it. We
Just signed a contract,
and
right,
we-
for a
yeah.
year. Like we
and
better
we
get our stuff
included
together.
and we included a list of potential guests in there as well. So we kind of started with that and just create a spreadsheet. And honestly, I've been working off that since.
It's like our Bible for the podcast,
Yeah.
which is
so
nice
it has a
'cause
list of
Nate uses it,
Yeah.
we use it, you use it. I think all of us utilize it.
Yeah.
So it has a list of the date we record, the date it'll air, because secret, we don't film them and then they go live immediately after. There's a little bit of time in between there.
This is the fun part. We get to really show people like what happens today.
And then I'll have a list of like who's speaking on it, who it is on our team or our guest, and then a title of some kind and some sort of description. So that's kind of how I go off of it. And honestly, there's a running list at the bottom of potential prospective
ideas.
topics.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. All of a sudden, I'll just be thinking about or working on a project for a client, and all of a sudden something will just spark in my head, and I just go and type it in, or a topic or whatever. I just wrote one in there last night because I thought of someone that we should have on. So it's always just running. It's kind of going. But for the actual like day of the content, usually a week or two before we air, I'll start working on the sheet. It kind of just keeps.
It's like our show flow, really. It's the script for each of our episodes. It's really the script from like the intro piece.
Yep. So we do a recorded intro and outro every week. And so that gets written in a script form in a sense. And then in the middle is where we kind of have talking points is what I would more so say what it is versus like strict script.
It's like an outline.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Of just certain topics, there might be something really noteworthy with one of our guests that we really make sure we want to touch. And so that's what we always have here on
You
the
just said
table.
guess that you want to touch. You mean touch on?
Touch on whatever. Gosh.
So there's no editing. We usually don't edit these podcasts. Right?
No.
So that's why
No.
I wanted to bring that piece up. Yep.
Yep. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it.
These sheets are super helpful, I will tell you, because there may be times where I may not read these up until a few hours prior to filming. I'll glance at them. Like Callie had mentioned, like she talks through really kind of with the whole team, and especially me in particular, about what topics and if these are the right people or not, because then I inevitably are the ones that reach out to the individuals and ask them to be a part of the show. So we need to make sure we're all on the same page. But for the most part, this is all done and prepared, and you do such a great job with it. You're researching the companies. You are making sure everything is spelled correctly. I mean, it's all really in there. And you think of some different topics to approach with them too. It may not be where we are, like we've got some people that have been on the show before where they aren't our clients, right? They just do really awesome things in the community. We want to spotlight what they do. So it's just, there's a lot of research that goes into them. Yeah. It's not just flying by the seat of our pants and winging it.
No. Right. And there's a point to all of it. So either if we do work with them directly or not, or it's just something someone we want to spotlight. But even with our other clients, we want to share their story, and we only might be a little slice of that.
Right.
We have a hand in it through an event or something, but they have so much other good work that they do. And that's kind of the whole point of the podcast, I think, as well.
So these sheets here, we'll show you guys these in a little bit, but these are the sheets that really are
the bones.
The bones, really. So it goes through literally everything, the intro to the episode and all the talking points, and then our closing piece, which you all kind of just heard and kind of just saw a little bit ago, like the intro. I notoriously mess up the intro every time. And Nate usually, literally, and Nate says, I think it's just because you're more comfortable at the end because you've been around the people and you've had a chance to kind of warm up a little bit to whether we're interviewing somebody or whether it's us. And I think he's right. Nate, kudos to you. We're looking at you right now. You're right. So Callie just recorded it, and then I recorded it, and I think we'll probably keep mine this time.
Yeah.
But Callie does such a good job, and rightfully so. I mean, she is the content writer. So, I mean, she does all the content piece of it, so it makes total sense. But this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I love doing it.
Yeah, and you're good at it.
I like doing the writing portion of it and thinking of it. I love to kind of share the stories. That's kind of always been why I've liked writing, is sharing other people's stories, whether I'm not directly saying it in this sense, but to help guide that conversation. Yeah. I love it. So
after we do the filming, which we'll show a little behind the scenes more of all the outfit changes. And like Callie said, one little secret is we don't film every week. We film 4 episodes in one day.
Yep.
And so we're very purposeful in blocking that time off. It's nice for Nate as well because he's not in and out every week. But yeah, we film 4 episodes one day. We change clothes every episode. We change sometimes lipstick and jewelry, all that stuff. So we'll show you what that looks like. But after we film, then Nate does all the production pieces, edits, does all those different things. And then you're up.
I am. That's when
up to bat.
That's when I come in.
So Maddie does really all the social media pieces of it. So she is clipping it for Insta. We do little previews on Monday.
Yep.
Usually it's on Monday prior to the actual full episode being released on Tuesday. But you want to talk through kind of what that process looks like? And
so usually Nate, after he does his magic, because it really is magic, I get a flash drive of all the episodes.
It's like a transfer of stuff.
Yeah. He really does all the hard work, and then I have the social media fun part. So I take the full video and I watch the whole thing, which is nice because for the ones that I'm not on, you know, it's like a new fresh eye.
And you're the first person to really watch it all after me because we don't even see it beforehand.
And so I watch the whole thing and I look for, little clips that are either, key to what the episode is about or just hilarious and make us
That's what you usually go for.
Make us all laugh because there's
they're
just so
catchy,
many,
right?
Yeah, there's so. I mean, like we said, you just give us talking points. So sometimes the things that come out are always not planned, and so they're usually pretty good. So I find that and then put in the little thumbnail that Nate gives me of the beginning image, yes. And then we post that on Monday, little teaser trailer kind of thing to get everyone sucked into what this episode is going to be.
Sucked in.
Yeah.
Or jazzed.
Get you jazzed.
In sounds like never coming out.
Well, we've got you. But yeah, and then Tuesday we release the full episode.
Yeah.
It goes on to iTunes, which is through Buzzsprout.
Yeah.
And we go through Facebook. And then it's out there. And YouTube, it's out there for everyone to see and enjoy.
Everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we seem to get more traction through Facebook for sure. And it's fun because a lot of people are already on that platform, so it's easy for them just to watch versus go out of that platform. We've tried mixes of different things. We've got viewers that watch it on every piece of it, so it's always interesting to kind of see that part of it. But I think the fun part is when you do the little clips, because then you send them to us and we
Yes.
or we watch them in the office.
Yeah, you're just always like, can I get your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
And
And
then
they're
you
either
pull your computer around.
funny or we're like, scratch that and do
Yeah,
something different.
yeah.
But for
Let's
the
try
most part,
something
they're
else.
really funny.
They are.
Yeah, you're really good at that piece of it.
Thank
but
you.
you do
Yeah.
have to listen. Like you can't
Yeah.
passively listen. Like you're
No.
really watching and listening for it as well.
It is fun to be able to turn the editing computer around and what do you guys think of this? Is this the funny part? And usually I have a couple to choose
Yeah,
from.
you do.
too.
Yep.
And then that
I'm
just
glad it
kind
all
of-
worked out. Remember when it was like an idea that we had? We just thought, how can we get
Yeah,
you
because
know,
we
more
haven't been doing the
traction.
mini clips
No,
since
not
day
long.
one.
We started the mini clips, the previews on that Monday in October. Because
Yeah.
I looked at that the
Yeah.
other day when we were looking at stats, but October. Isn't that crazy?
And I remember that I think
'Cause we're
you
trying
were,
to figure out-
you were might have been on vacation that week, and we were trying to get it all figured
gosh.
out. And both of our computers were like, we're saying we didn't have enough storage
Oh,
to do it,
yeah.
and I moved
My
to like clear out our whole
gosh.
computers, and like it was, we thought it wasn't gonna work out, but Matt's has
It
got it
works.
now.
No, well, I have to pull in Carter's computer to
It's
edit
okay. It
because
works.
It
he's
works.
got a lot more memory.
Thank
on
you,
his
Carter.
computer. Thank you.
No, it's always fun. And I think those mini clips are really, I don't know, it's fun to see that different perspective because it's just like
Yeah.
a trailer for anything else, right?
Right.
And it's usually you try to keep it under a minute, right?
Yep.
For the most part, unless it's a funny part and we keep going talking, but
Right.
yeah. So should we go behind the scenes and show like
think we
where
should. I think
all the
we
other
should,
stuff
too.
happens besides at this
At the
magical
table.
little table?
Yes.
Okay, let's
think
take a
we
peek.
should.
This is the setup that we do every time. I come in, I usually have 2 or 3 bags. It's kind of heavy. I wheel it down. I try to find a parking spot. Today it's really freezing. But the first thing I set up is the audio. So I set up the microphones and the stands. This is all deconstructed and they're all in cases. So I'm getting these all set up, all the cables set up. And if you look down here, this is where all the mics are connecting to the computer. This is called the audio interface. And you can see that I have a computer here recording the audio separate. And I'm monitoring through a pair of headphones. I like wearing noise canceling headphones because I like to hear just what's coming off the microphone rather than what's going on in the room. Gives me a more true representation of it. I have an external hard drive that I'm recording everything to back here. And then we have lights. We have 2 different cameras. We just kind of go for this left and right thing. This is the camera we just used for the main portion, so it's not the lens I typically use. But the cameras are kind of set up in this fashion. And then in post, I kind of pop between the left and the right, depending on who's talking. I'm actually looking at the waveform of the audio to see when the left side or when the right side is talking. It took a while to get the hang of it, but it's just kind of been a learning process. And that's pretty well it on my end.
So today we are actually filming 4 episodes of The Good Work. So I have here 4 set out sheets that I printed. So all my sheets that I kind of just talked about, all of them with their respective dates in a pile. My favorite pile, of course, if you haven't been able to tell, is our power round of questions. So there's that fancy list that I had so much fun writing. And I think people have fun sharing too as well. So I just have those laid out so when guests come in and we're in between shoots that I'll just put those over on the table. They can grab them or I'll place them on the table for them, but just so we're all organized before we start.
When our guests come in, or just me, Addie, Callie, Sarah, whoever is on, we like to make sure that the shoot looks organized. And part of that is the drink staying refreshed. So we have our signature little cups, and then we offer water, LaCroix. Most of the time we have Fernson beer in the fridge. We offer that. Sometimes tequila. Just kind of depends. Yeah, just depends on the day. But we always make sure we put them in our cute little hand-stamped cups with our little logo.
Okay, friends. So remember how I said that we have different outfits, like Callie had mentioned before. We change sometimes 4 times, different makeup. Our hair stays the same. We don't go out and get perms or anything crazy like that. But so here's just kind of a selection of today's outfits. So I'll try to mix and match different jackets with clothing, different necklaces. We've got different lipsticks, believe it or not. There is a lot that goes into it. People think that it's just seamless and it's quick, but we try to allow about 30 minutes in between shoots so we can do outfit changes, get new lipstick on, all those different things. So it's a process. But I am going to now take you back in our office just so you can take a peek at some of the other girls working. We're not working out, but working. Okay, girls. Look, here's Anne-Marie and Sarah. Anne-Marie's interning with us. Oh, look, they're doing some blue ball stuff. There's Sarah. So while we are filming out here, these two are instructed to not drop anything, not make a sound, do not open a door. They can't go to the bathroom. Gosh, that sounds a little rough. Doesn't it? But really, they just make sure that everything's good and quiet in here so we can keep filming out in the other room. But that's all for you guys, really, right? Back here? Yeah. Unless they are joining us on an episode. Otherwise, they're back in the office working away. Thanks, everybody, for going behind the scenes with us. I hope you loved seeing all of our makeup, clothing, coffee cups.
And learning more how to make it. Yeah.
The office, the girls in the office that are shut up in back in the room while we're filming. But thank you so much. We loved having you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.